The transfer portal is Auburn head football coach Alex Golesh has a lot of work to do. We discuss it on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, indeed. What is up, everybody? Welcome into this live edition of the Uptempo podcast. I'm here every single Sunday morning with my guy, Nick Fraser. Y'all know the deal. The transfer portal has opened up. It has been a busy weekend at Auburn, Alabama. Lots of visitors in and out of that football facility. Probably some, Nick, that we don't even know about. I would imagine it's been so busy, probably too much to even keep up with over there. So we're going to get into all that today. I think there's been a lot of discussion, and I'm sure we will have some discussion about quarterback. When's this Brown commitment coming? All that. It could very well pop here in the middle of the show. We've had some big news break in the middle of the show before, Nick. So maybe that would happen today. Maybe that could happen today as well. But one thing I wanted to kind of talk about were some other spots that need to be filled potentially, and that again, a lot of attention goes towards quarterback. But this is an Auburn team that has a lot of holes to fill. And look, I know that Auburn has resources and Auburn has money. I've been somebody that's kind of championed that. But you only got so much, and you got a lot that you got to spend. So we're going to get into all that today, man. Hit that like button, sub to the channel. If you're over there on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your audio, go ahead, turn on those automatic downloads. Leave a 5-star review over there. We continue. We're like 100 subs away from 3K at this point, so I would like to get there by the end of the week. But those audio numbers are kind of staying steady. They ain't really moving much. So even if you listen on YouTube, just at least go over there, do me the favor, turn on those automatic downloads and kind of helping the algorithm out over there. But at the end of the day, you guys are here, you're watching. That's all we really ask. We appreciate it greatly. Nick, my guy, how are you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing well. I am sitting here in anticipation like every Auburn fan, every Auburn insider, everybody that enjoys Auburn football. We are sitting here in anticipation, waiting for one specific. Yeah, I know. Announcement is what we're all waiting in anticipation for. You asked me before we got on the show, am I panicking? No, I'm not panicking, but I'm a little anxious to just get it over with. Let's just make it happen. Let's just get it done.
Yeah, this is so we'll go ahead and kind of jump into this. I see you guys in the chat, so we'll go ahead and get the Byron Brown discussion out the way before we get into it today.
Every time I see that word, that just makes me laugh because BB17 just sounds hilarious to me. It just sounds hilarious, but I'm sorry.
It sounds like something you might need to be watch online. Yeah. Look, I think that normally, man, like in a normal college football world, in the first 100 and however many years of Auburn football, I would be like, yeah, who cares? It's going to come out sometime soon. These last 5 years have put me in a blender, chopped me up and spit me out as an Auburn fan, to where if you tell me that Auburn is going to get a coach and he's going to bring in his quarterback and it's just an automatic layup, I'm scared Auburn could blow the layup. So look, I'm not on here saying this is going to fall apart. But there's no I'm just simply making the statement of like, I would be lying if there was a little bit of fear down in my gut that Auburn somehow, some way can mess this up. And maybe that's just PTSD from watching Auburn literally find ways to mess things up. I mean, I remember back in the day, Grayson McCall was coming to Auburn, and then it was, we don't have his degree. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
Sports management degree, Auburn.
Yeah. So yeah, the countdown has begun. We're definitely anticipating something soon. You saw crystal balls yesterday, all of that kind of stuff. I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if Auburn doesn't get this across the finish line. I think they will. Don't mishear anything I'm saying. I'm just also just saying there's that little bit of God. They played. Auburn's hurt me, bro. Auburn has hurt me bad over the past 5 years. Like, it could be raining. I could be soaking wet in the rain. And then if Auburn came out and said, it's raining outside, I would like double check. Let me make sure because you guys kind of scare me. The Auburn Thaw coming through early, gifting 10 up tempo memberships. Let's go. He is always in the giving mood, always supporting the show, and he is off to a fast start this morning. AU Sleeping Giant says, I would have laughed if Dustin put this one behind the paywall. Yeah. Goofed up a little bit yesterday. Okay. So, goofed up a little bit yesterday, but I got Auburn Thaw gifting some of those memberships out there. And look, I did end up posting a member pod yesterday. It was a reaction to Auburn's overtime loss to Georgia in basketball, and we will have tons of film review and football content, members-only content coming out for you guys this week as well. That was so funny, Nick. I looked up. I saw that I have more people in the live chat than I have actual people signed up for memberships. Checked real quick and said, yeah, I'm definitely not behind the paywall here. This is live. And turns out it's been the biggest show we've ever had.
Biggest show. There it is.
Sometimes, man. And like had to pivot, had different. I was going to play some game tape. Like you get demonetized if you do it, in a public way if you don't tell YouTube before and all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of had to pivot. But man, great crowd. It was awesome. Had a lot of fun. So thank you to everybody that tuned in. Again, most watched episode we've ever had. Tons of subs off of that. Like we're really right here on the door for 3K subs at this point. Let's make that happen. And then Devin is here, War Eagle fam. Church is at 10:30 now, so I can spend a little time here before we have to head out. Okay, well, then we're going to hopefully have a little sermon of our own this morning. I got a question for you, Nick, because we're going to have a lot of discussions about quarterback, obviously. So let's pivot away from that momentarily. Because we do know that Auburn, there's a lot of holes to fill here.
Yes, it is.
There are a lot of holes to fill. I'm gonna get specific too. Like you can't just give me a group here. Biggest position in need outside of that quarterback position. If the football genie came down and he said, Nick, I'm gonna give you one position that you can pick, and this one will hit. They will get this portal eval right. This guy will be productive for Auburn next year. What would that one position be?
Offensive tackle.
Don't even care which one, right or left?
Preferably the right tackle because it will be protecting the line side of the quarterback. Preferably that, but either one. And I was excited when I saw I did a show on this on Water Cooler Talk Sports where I said what guys who will be my top 5 targets, and 3 of those targets were line of scrimmage guys, and 2 of those guys were offensive tackles. But the one that intrigued me the most was Tyree Adams from LSU. The fact that he allowed 0 sacks through 11 games intrigued me. But there was a guy that I mentioned on another video that I did, Devin Vass. That's actually Devin. I don't know if it's Vass Voss. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. But he said he is now. I think he is visiting this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, from Kansas State. And getting him in the fold and not letting him leave without being an Auburn Tiger, man. If you can get in and get that guy, he fits the mold. And I've been saying this for long. You're gonna see Auburn start recruiting a different looking type of offensive lineman. More athletic type guy. The days of the 6'4", 330, 340-pound guy is gone. You're gonna have a guy that is gonna be 6'4", 320. 6'6", 311, 315. These guys gonna have to be athletic enough and have to be able to move, and they're gonna have to be strong enough to be able to bang with and compete against the edges in the SEC and be able to move when you get to penny pulls, when you get to duo blocks, when you get to just straight up man blocking. These guys are gonna have to be. They're gonna have to be athletic enough to be able to do a lot of things in this offense because the running game is going to be the foundation of it. So offensive tackle, in my opinion, is used for a specific position. You ask for it. And my specific position is going to be offensive tackle. Offensive line all the way over, but let's get the tackle right, because the past two individuals that have been at that spot were people that we thought were going to be the piece at that particular spot to be able to help anchor that side of the offensive line and things of that nature. And we've kind of not hit on that spot. So let's go out and let's evaluate this position correctly. And I believe in what Alex Golesh said when he talks about how they evaluate talent and what they look for, and how if this guy doesn't fit what they want to do, this guy can't play for them in the system. So I honestly feel like they are going to evaluate talent and group guys into groups of how they want of who they want to go after heavily. But let's forget the offensive tackle position fixed, man. I'm ready to see some offensive line play at Auburn that we haven't seen in years, in a decade or more.
Yeah, it would be big if Tyler Johnson could take that next step. I think there's a lot of potential there for sure. And I just have questions about the previous O-line coach's development. I have some questions about who all they were choosing to put on the field on that side of the ball. So I don't really know what to make of Tyler Johnson in particular. But I think, again, like a lot of potential there. He's been in college football a couple of years. His body should be to the point to where he's ready for SEC play. So that would be huge if he could step up and be a guy. It would save Auburn a little bit of money, you would think. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. And
Roger Scholl too. Roger Scholl was a guy that was in that class as well.
Yeah, Scholl, Ty Buster. Oklahoma. There's a lot of talented guys in that class. Like Jacoby Ward. If some of those guys, I said this yesterday, if you could just get two of those guys to step up and be like starting quality next year, then that would be massive for Auburn. You spent a lot of money on Percy Lewis. You spent a lot of money on Xavier Chaplin. I think Percy Lewis was like an all-out miss. I don't know what to make of the Xavier Chaplin situation. It's because it's like there definitely appears to be some schemes, some coaching. Like there was a massive drop. If you turn on the tape, Percy Lewis kind of was Percy Lewis. That's not exactly the same situation with Xavier Chaplin. He played a lot better at Virginia Tech than he did at Auburn. And yes, there's a step up in competition and all that kind of stuff. That drop off was significant. So I'm not sure that just ACC, the SEC made that much of a difference. I think that was a lot of Jake Thornton issues. And I've made no apologies about how bad of a coach I think he was. I just don't care. He's terrible. For me, I'm going to go edge rusher. Edge rusher. And I'm going to say edge rusher because you said tackle. And I believe, I believe that Jared Smith is going to take that next step next year. Yep. I think that he's going to be a big or a solid, I don't want to say big time, but he's going to be a nice contributor next year coming off the edge. So I think you got to go get a guy, man, like a proven guy that can really come in from day one and rush the passer. I love guys like what we just did with Crawford, and I always say this because I got a question, somebody asking, what do I think about a certain person and where he went in the portal? And I'm going to answer it. But I always say this to be fair. Whenever I state my issues with the portal, there are good stories like Crawford, who came from Arkansas State, was clearly good enough to play at this level, was solid in his first year at Auburn, got developed, didn't go hit the portal again, stayed, got developed, and then really took that next jump in his second season at Auburn. So like there's give and take, there's good and bad with that kind of thing. Me personally, I would love to see maybe a guy like that added in the edge room, but for sure go also get, because you got to go get more than one edge rusher. So yeah, definitely. I mean, you like when Morris is gone, you start going through with Jamonte, you start going through it. You're losing some guys. You got two guys going to the draft. So you're pretty thin in that room already. So yeah, but the one thing is if it was like, hey man, like the same question that I asked you, one position for sure, this guy will produce at his spot. I would say edge rusher, because right now I look at it and I say I believe in the potential of Jared Smith. I don't know if he's actually going to be that guy next year 100%. We can't say that with any certainty, or whether he like flashes and is a little bit better, and then the following season he really kind of hits that groove. So we don't know how that'll play out exactly. Again, believe in his potential. I think you got to go get a proven edge rusher. And here's the thing with that: it's going to cost money.
Oh yeah,
it's a premium position. Getting pressure on the quarterback. Everyone understands the importance of it. So for me,
there's one that I have in mind. A true freshman from Florida, Jaden Woods. I don't know if Auburn has him on his radar. I'm pretty sure Auburn knows, but he was all SEC, all SEC freshman team. He played in, I think he played in like 8 or 9 games this year, and produced in those games. And the fact that he would have 3+ years of eligibility left, getting him at that age and at that time with that much eligibility left gives you the opportunity to get him on the field right now, because a lot of people always talk about having a guy that has played in comparable competition. Well, he played at Florida, and Florida had a pretty decent defense, even though the offense didn't look great. Florida had a pretty decent defense this past season, with Tyrese Sapp and all those guys on the side and things, stuff like that. But man, I would love for Auburn to potentially target a guy like Jaden Woods, if not take Jaden Woods, and try to see if they can get him in the fold.
Yeah, I hear you. This isn't going to be. This isn't the biggest position in need or anything like that, but I am going to say I'm a little surprised about the lack of noise at punter. Did we all watch the same team last year?
Okay.
I laughed. I just laughed to get into Iron Bowl when the PA announcer was Hudson Cock with a punt of 37 yards. Hudson Cock with a punt of 38 yards. I'm like, bro, I've seen some people saying that he was told to do that in terms of hang time and getting the coverage down there. That seems crazy to me, but it also seems like something that the previous regime would do because it's stupid. So they would probably want to do it because it's stupid. So yeah, I don't know if he can actually boot it 55 yards or so. I would like to see that. And again, if he can, and he was being told to do what we saw last year, then whoever told him to do that should never coach football on even the Pee Wee level again. But if that's his ceiling, if he can only punt it 40 yards max, then Auburn needs to go get a new punter. So I'm a little surprised that we haven't heard any noise in terms of that. And then, like, obviously, you look at some of these rooms that are just decimated, like tight end. Up here, I just saw on the timeline before we hit go, there was a tight end that visited Auburn this weekend. Forgive me for forgetting his name in school. It's hard to keep up with all these portal kids. But now he's going to go visit other schools. I don't know if that means we should worry or not worry. Personally, and I like it when a portal guy, you just don't let him leave campus without getting wrapped up. But we know tight end is something that needs to be addressed as well. So is there just any other like kind of sneaky position that you're looking at and saying like, I'm not hearing a whole lot of noise there, but I would like to see a spot here or two filled?
It's not a whole lot of noise. It's just the fact that I just think Auburn needs to go out and get a defensive back. At least 2 starting quality defensive back. There's one guy, Nehemiah Chandler. He was at South Alabama last year, but he now announced that he's going to get into Florida State. Would have loved to have had him in the fold at Auburn. Bigger corner, 6 foot, 6'1", 185, 190 pound guy. Would have loved to see him. Now there is a safety that I think Auburn should go out and get from Mercer. Carmelo O'Neal, 6'4", 200 pounds. Would definitely love to get him in the fold. Probably have him come in and play somewhere, closer to the line of scrimmage, because of the fact that Auburn had a problem covering tight ends last year. And if you can have a guy that has the ball skills and has the ability to run with tight ends and is just as big as those guys, and cover the middle of the field and cover those 5 routes, cover those 6 routes and stuff like that those tight ends are going to run. Having that type of guy in the fold would be very, 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 very would be a luxury to have. So I mean, you know, those are two guys that I thought Auburn should have potentially we should potentially look at, even though one of them has already committed to a school. I don't know if Carmelo Hill has visited yet, or if he's announced if he's going anywhere. I haven't seen anything about it, but would definitely love to see Auburn go out and get some guys in the back end, either some depth pieces, because you hear Tay Seymour, who was a depth pieces into the portal.
Yeah.
You look at you got Fagans and Winters that have announced that they're coming back. But you just need depth in the secondary, man. You got to have some depth back there. I mean, you got Pleasant and you have Blake Wood be there. You know, Devin Williams will be coming off of an ACL injury from last year.
Yeah.
So you got to go get some more guys in that back end just for depth pieces as well. And then, of course, the way that Durkin plays defense is they like to rotate a lot of guys. So you need bodies, you know. So, you know, going out and getting defensive backs on the backfield, because I want people to understand Auburn's defense last year. Yeah, it was like the number 7 total defense. It was like the rush defense was ranked like number 4 in the conference, number 4, number 5 in the conference. But the pass defense was number 11. Number 11, number 12 is what Auburn's pass.
Gave up a lot of explosives.
Yeah. You know, you giving up almost 230 passing yards per game, but you giving up less than 100 yards in rushing per game. And you sitting here saying, like, come on, man, we got to get some type of consistency there, because that's a very big discrepancy between those two areas of the field, which kind of set the average of where Auburn was at 7. Now, if you kind of bring that number down on the passing side, you're probably looking at Auburn defense that's probably top 5 in the conference, you know, all around, you know, because everywhere else, you know, 21 points a game, giving up less than 100 yards rushing per game, you know, you're giving up less than 370 yards per game on average. But that passing number, the discrepancy between what you gave up in the passing game, what you gave up in the running game, that's a huge discrepancy there. So, man, I think you got to get some DBs that's going to be able to cover and not get beat deep. Not let people get behind them in the secondary. So yeah, that would be my second position.
A lot of that, like safety play in particular, like I look at Caleb Harris and I just wonder how much of the drop off was Charles Kelly leaving, and can something like that be rectified, you know, with a new safeties coach and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. I mean, I love the young talent there. Obviously, Winters and Fagans coming back. You got to be super excited for that, because other SEC schools are definitely after him. You got a young core on this defense, whether it be Bryce Dees, Elijah Melendez. We can kind of go through all those names where these are super talented guys. I said this yesterday too, Nick. You feel like you might not, if you want to, at the end of the cycle, if you want to add a veteran depth piece at linebacker, cool. But I don't feel like it's, you don't, I mean, if you laid it all out on the table and said money towards linebacker, it would probably be the smallest pile. You know, I think you're good. I think you're good there. So I'm excited to see what a DeMarcus Reddick can come back and do. It seems like he was banged up for the majority of the season last year. I think you're going to see more of what you saw the freshman year compared to what you saw last year with a healthy version of him. And if you could get Xavier Atkins and DeMarcus Reddick and Elijah Melendez, Bryce Dees, if you could get all these guys playing at their peak or close to their peak, then woo! You'll be filthy. You'll be filthy at that spot. So that is one position right there where I feel like you're good. But yeah, I'm with you on the secondary. I was really, and like when I say this, I always say that I have to always give this, you know, little caveat with it. I don't know these people's personal situations and all that kind of stuff. I'm just speaking from a football standpoint here. From a football standpoint, I was kind of surprised that Kinsley Falston entered the portal, because I felt like your reps are there. And I felt like he played solid last year, and you're in the coming back. And I was like, your reps are here. So that one kind of shocked me a little bit. Let's get to some of these comments. AU, the sleeping giant, says not even a layup. Auburn is on a ladder, and the ball just has to be dropped in the net. Talking about getting Brown. Yeah. That's the scariest part to me. That part's the scariest to me, that it should be that easy. This isn't a John Cohen WNBA layup. This is a mad Russian Golan layup. Dude, have you ever seen, I don't know if they do this in Russia, but I saw a video of them playing basketball in Dagestan where Khabib is from, and
Really?
that's one of the most nuts videos. Yeah, they were tackling on the court. It was
Wait,
some kind of
what?
form.
In basketball?
Yeah, it was some kind of form of like you get 2 dribbles and then you have to pass or you get tackled or something. It was just when we get done, just check out Khabib playing basketball in Dagestan. Just check that out on YouTube. It's nuts.
Khabib playing basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were playing football out there, and eventually the ball gets down the court and goes into the hole. Wild stuff. But yeah, I mean, hopefully this is just put the ball in the hoop, Auburn. And had a problem yesterday doing that at layups and at the free throw line. Make the easy ones. Billy says, "What do y'all think?" I'm going to save this one, Billy. I'm going to save this one. We've already won several deals with some of the current roster. Yeah, had a nice little flurry of announcements over the last couple of days. Young cats coming back, and that's big time because these are still guys that Anquan Fagans, Eric Winters. These are highly rated guys coming out of high school that played as freshmen. So there are a lot of schools out there that can see that, can become enticed by that. And you can believe that those guys were getting phone calls, and Elijah Melendez was getting some push. And because I made this joke like a week or two ago where I said, are we at a time in college football now where everyone has to come out with an announcer coming back every single year? The answer is yes. The answer is actually yes. I was being a smart ass, but turns out yes. Let's see. I couldn't hear Nick. What did he say? He said tackle. He wants a tackle if he had to pick. Absolutely. We have lived through the worst 5 years in Auburn football history. That only happens when the foundation has been cracked and you need serious renovation to rebuild. Yeah. I mean, for sure. We've had that culture discussion a whole lot here. I'm not going to get into that today, but obviously I've made my feelings known about that needing to be reset, this loser mindset that's poisoned the program. But also like there's cracks fundamentally on the roster and just there's this really is starting to feel like AAU basketball to me, where every summer you just get a new team.
Yeah.
And you just go get ready to play in that one specific tournament. And then like, that's how the seasons kind of feel to me now. So it's like, yeah, let's see all these teams. And it's just a very 1 year, very, very like by the season, this year, by this year. And it's like, I don't even know what to make of a coach that goes 12-2 1 year. And then the next year goes 7-5. Like it's just, he had to put a whole new team together. Like, I don't know exactly what program building looks like right now. What I do know is that Alex Golesh has tons of holes. Him and Warsaw they pretty much got to rebuild an entire starting go line, Nick. If like some of those guys that we talked about earlier aren't ready to go yet, you really need like 4 or 5 quality SEC offensive linemen. That's expensive. It's hard to do because everybody needs quality offensive linemen. So it's a tough task for sure. Auburn Thaw says, I'm just hoping Golesh staff can be 75% as good as Signetti's at evaluating talent. Yeah, Signetti is flipping a lot of narratives on his head over there, dude. He's taking a lot of narratives and just flipped them upside down and said, what about this? I just think the guy's a dog. I think he's a great football coach, and I think he's a dog. So like, shout out to Indiana. Shout out to Indiana, man. I thought it was hilarious. ESPN did a segment before the game where they were talking about how big an underdog Alabama was. And I made the jokes to my girlfriend. I pulled up the Winsipedia. I was like, look at this. And I compared Alabama's all-time statistics to Indiana's all-time statistics. And I was like, they trying to sell this underdog thing here? And then they get the doors blown off of them. And I was like, oh, well, I guess they were the underdog. That was not even close.
Nowhere near.
Looking forward to seeing if they can take it all the way for sure. Shout out to Sig. It's a fun brand of football to watch. And speaking on, I said edge, Nick said tackle. Watch Miami. Watch Indiana. It's a war up front.
Yep.
They got dogs. Miami's so fun to watch, and I don't even watch the ball half the time. whether it be O-line or D-line. They got dogs, bro. Like,
Yep.
it's crazy. Saucy says chat pad like a million false start penalties for sure. So that's kind of where my but he didn't have him at Virginia Tech, right? So that's where my question about the previous coaching staff comes into play is why did all of a sudden, and then we got told hearing issues, which just okay.
Yeah, it was weird. That was weird. That was weird.
Yeah, very, very weird. Brett says Jabba PTSD slowly starting to set in. No, Brett. My ex timeline is starting to fill with commitment announcements from other schools. Yet Auburn, crickets. Look, I'm going to be fair. Good Lord bless me with skills and talents and things like that. Patience, not one of them. So I am not going to pretend to be a patient person, bro. I'm not. I told you before we hit go, why didn't you have it done Friday night? That's just how I'm that way. But yeah, I mean, Brett, it's the job of PTSD. And that's the perfect way to put it. When you start seeing Kentucky's getting this quarterback and Arizona State's getting this quarterback and you're looking and you're like, wait a second. Isn't the guy we're going after already played for the coach for 3 years? Like, let's go here. So, yeah, Brett, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. And I will say this. Perception matters, especially in recruiting. Whether it be portal recruiting, high school recruiting, you need to get this done today. You drag this on into the weekend, I'm going to start asking some serious questions about what the hell is going on. So, and I know people are going to hear that and go, Dustin, stop freaking out. He's going to commit to it's going to I know. Hear what we're saying here. It's just, we just came from a coach that called a timeout at 2:02 on the clock and then told us in the postgame he forgot the 2-minute warning. You have to forgive some of us for being shot out a little bit. Okay? You're just going to have to forgive some of us. Some of us need therapy, bro. Some of us need like Auburn therapy. Billy says, and a good field goal kicker because we don't know if Alex might have a spell with his sickness. Hopefully he doesn't, but we never know. I think Connor Gibbs is returning. My understanding is that Gibbs will be returning, and that's kind of the plan at backup kicker right now. Is that
Towns moved into the portal? Yeah, but I think Connor Gibbs is back. Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to see any movement there, Billy, because I think that they feel good about the situation there. And, I think that obviously we've heard nothing. You make a good point, and we pray that none of that continues, that we're good with Alex. But like you raise a good point, right? Last year, all summer was, hey, Alex is back. We're good to go. And then the season came, and it was like, got a little sketchy there. Ultimately, he was able to get it together. And the most important thing there goes without saying is his health. But Auburn still has to play football, and they still got to be ready. Yeah. If that does arise. So it seems like they're confident. And but overall, it seems like that Alex is good to go, that the treatments work, that they've identified everything, and that he's straight. So hopefully we'll see that version. He's had one bad game. He's had one bad game at Auburn. So he's reliable. You can depend on him. I don't think he missed a kick, did he, after Missouri?
After that Missouri game, he went 6 for 6.
The next week versus Arkansas. Yeah. The whole season. I don't think he missed a kick the rest of the season, if I'm mistaken.
Oh, yeah, the rest of the season. Yeah. After the Arkansas game, he went 6 for 6. The rest of he made every single kick after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of tells you what he is, man. That kid's a dog. Rodney with a $19.99 super chat, tuning in from Bruton, Alabama. Black Magic Racing. Rodney is always out here supporting. What's up, brother?
Black
always
Magic,
supporting
baby.
Up Tempo. I see him over there a lot in y'all's live chat as well, Nick, supporting the show. So appreciate you, Rodney. That's my guy, man. That's my guy right there. Friend of the family. Know my Pops a long time. I'm sure you got lots of stories that Pops doesn't really want to tell me. But thank you for the $19.99 super chat. And by the way, a lot of people have been DMing me saying, why hasn't Pops been in the live chat? Pops is an old head, man. He is now at the point to where he said, you just let me know when the roster's done. he said, you let me know when the roster's done. I can't keep up. I said, I feel you, Dad. I get it. Singleton from USF on campus now. Lock them down. Yeah, former quarterbacks, former receivers, all on campus. Let's lock them down. Let's make these announcements. Let's get these graphics going. I'm going to be truthful with you guys. Selfishly, I wanted it done before we did the show today. for content creating purposes. Gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, it felt like pop this morning with that, and then me and Nick could come on and do the show. That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe we'll come on here again in a little bit and have something else to talk about. I love Alex McPherson, but remember when kicker was one position I never worried about. I mean, look, if he's healthy, I don't think you really have to worry about him. Again, you got that one bad game at Missouri, but other than that, the kid's been money.
Yep.
But I hear you. When he wasn't healthy and watching that take place week after week, it was really brutal. It's like this is how you know that Auburn has fallen, is when we can't make a field goal kick. I would say punter as well, man. Like I ain't used to 37 yarders on average. That's crazy. Appreciate the $4.99 super chat. But some people have been saying in the comments that they've read as well that Hudson Cock was coached to do that he was booming them at Oklahoma State. So
he was.
So all right, so here's what I'm gonna say. I'm man enough to admit that, like, if I'm wrong, because I was hard on him last year. If he was told to do that, if Hudson Cock can actually punt a football to the distance that an SEC punter is required to punt it, and he was told to not do that, then I will come on here and say that I was wrong. I apologize to Hudson Cock. And then I would also say whoever was the coach that told him that should hold a press conference and publicly apologize to all of us as fans. Because if you had some kind of idea in your head about how that was going to go, we're going to get the coverage down there and there's not going to be any net yards and blah, 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 blah. If that was your idea, cool. But after watching it for 5 or 6 games not work, deciding to go through that all season, that's insanity. What happened to special teams outside of Alex McPherson? And he had the one bad game at Missouri, and then there's health issues. But outside of Alex McPherson, what's happened to Auburn on special teams over the past 3, 4, 5 seasons is freaking atrocious, dude. Like, it's atrocious. And it's we got to the point where we're like, just knee the ball, because every kick return you're getting a hold and you're pinning yourself. Like, just not able to do anything on special teams, man. Hopefully that changes. And you know what, Nick? I'm not surprised, because we've heard about the previous staff's lack of attention to detail, about how they let the small things go through the cracks. Well, we'll just go get a bunch of 4 and 5 stars and it'll all work out. And nah, bro. You got to pay attention to the details, especially on special teams. These things win and lose you football games in this league. Auburn has got to. I could be wrong on this. I'm not in the rooms. I'm not in the meeting rooms. I'm not in the facility every day. It really felt like there wasn't a big emphasis on special teams. Am I crazy in that? I never really heard Hugh Freeze talk about it unless it was a problem. Like, unless there was a big problem in a game where we had like 4 penalties on special teams, and then he got asked about it post game. But like in his own, just talking on his own free time, he never really talked about that. It was always kind of recruiting and getting the talent, which I don't like to disagree with on a certain level, but he never really talked about like defined details of special teams, unless he was asked a direct question about why were your special teams so ass today, and then he had to. But most of the time, it feels like there really wasn't that big of an emphasis on it these last couple of years. Am I misreading that?
Nah, because I'm trying to think, like, when you were saying it, I was literally trying to think, like, over the time, like, at what point in time did he really talk about, special teams? And I think the only time that I can really remember that there was an emphasis on special teams is after Alex McPherson got hurt and you got Connor Gibbs in the portal last year. That's the only time I can remember. Because I know people. Connor Gibbs was from was from Southern Miss. He was a kid from Southern Miss, and that's the only time that I remember. They had Towns Magoo in a recruiting class. He was from Auburn, but other than that, I don't ever remember him talking about the importance of kickoff or kick return or punt return or anything like that. I that's a good one, Dustin. I'm literally trying to think of the time like when he actually, like, besides him being asked about it, when did he actually address it as, you know, being an important part of the game plan of the offense? I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know. It doesn't feel like to me, as we sit like post that whole era, like they put a big premium on it throughout the week, and then I think it showed on Saturday.
Well,
and just
to their defense, they didn't put a big premium on a lot of things during the week.
Yeah, no, one side of the ball certainly didn't.
One side of the ball, at least.
For sure, buddy. For sure. Just so hopefully, man. Hopefully. And Alex Golesh feels like a guy. I mean, you've talked about it a ton, Nick, process oriented, right?
Yes.
If and a lot of coaches can say stuff. So we'll see. We'll see if he's just saying stuff or if it's reality. But when he says
the difference with this one,
it feels that way.
The difference with this one. Because everywhere he's been, he has upgraded every time he's left. Everywhere he's been. Iowa State as recruiting coordinator, talent upgrade. Tennessee as the offensive coordinator, you brought in guys, upgrade. You can be the head coach at USF. You only win 4 games in however many seasons. You win 24 the next 3 seasons. Upgrade. To me, this would feel like the numbers. Yes, he talks it, but there's numbers behind these results as well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It ain't just fluff. There's like you took something that was in a bad situation and made it better, not just one time, but multiple times. You know, so this one feels different.
Yeah. Going back to that discussion we had last Sunday about all the reasons why it does feel different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brett says Byron Brown arrived in Auburn late Saturday night. He is scheduled to visit Sunday and Monday. Devin Voss was also, if I said that right, also arrived Saturday night and will visit Sunday. Mekhi Frazier is set to arrive on Sunday. Mekhi Frazier is a running back, I do believe. I'm not sure who from Michigan State, correct?
Yep.
I'm not sure who Devin Voss is. And
he's the offensive lineman from Kansas State.
Okay, cool. Yeah, saw that was, you were talking about him earlier. So yeah, let's get these things wrapped up. I'm impatient. Let's get them wrapped up. Absolutely. So if he arrived in Auburn late Saturday night, scheduled to visit today, hopefully they're getting graphics ready, blah, blah, blah. This news needs to come out today. And if it breaks Monday, it's not the end of the world, blah, blah. You know, I'm just saying, man, I think it would be good for Auburn to go ahead and putting some pluses into the addition column for sure. And the guy that you've coached for the last 3 seasons or however long as quarterback, let's go ahead and get that one. Let's go ahead and get that one announced and in the boat. Susan says Coach Hugh Freeze was not concerned with special teams. Didn't feel that way. Didn't feel it because it didn't really improve, right? Like it was bad and then it stayed bad and it just didn't really seem. And like I just said, I never even really heard him. There are some coaches, man. There are some coaches. Okay, I know this is an extreme example, and I know he's not doing good in college now. But, like, could you imagine Bill Belichick back in the day committing, like, 4 penalties on special teams and him just ignoring it? It would have been what he led the post-game presser with, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
So it is important, man. 4-8 season loading. We'll see. I mean, somebody asked me for a record prediction yesterday. And I was like, not only does Auburn not have their roster set, but the teams that Auburn is playing. Like we play LSU. Their entire offensive line hit the portal. Do they feel good about Lane Kiffin? Sure they do. But who knows? They got a lot of work to do. Who's going to be their quarterback? They got a lot of work to do. Now, I think that Lane Kiffin could put me at quarterback and somehow find a way to get production out of it. But still, they got questions there. Florida is on Auburn's schedule. What are they going to look like? You know? So yeah, I'm not anywhere near 4-8 season loading. We're screwed, you know, hit the panic button, none of that. You know, there's a long way to go here. We got I'm going to wait for the portal to be closed before I even kind of start talking about how I feel about the roster. Because we have no idea right now.
I do want to say this though. I do want to say this. Winning helps in this particular time period, and I'm saying this for a particular reason. And I don't want this to be a long soliloquy, but it may end up being that Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss thinking that he was going to a situation where he felt as if he could win games or win championships. Ole Miss is in a situation right now to where they're about to play for a berth in the national championship game. Is what they're doing. You're looking at transfer portal movements right now, and I say that I say it because I say winning matters because Jay Crawford, DB from Florida, Keaton Thompson, who was the linebacker at Baylor, all three of those guys have announced their intentions to commit to Ole Miss. Quality players all announced their intentions to commit to Ole Miss, to play for Ole Miss, to play on the defense next year. The perception, like you said, perception is reality sometimes. So winning matters. Ole Miss, who a lot of people say is a lot of people look at it and just be like, Ole Miss, what? Really?
Ole Miss, yeah.
Ole Miss is playing is one of the last 4 teams in the college football playoff. And they just picked up in the portal 3 guys. One of the guys played for Auburn last year. And a lot of people at Auburn feel it was the best defensive back on the team. They just picked up 3 quality defensive players to come play on a defense that was already trending upward. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Ole Miss's defense is considered to be the most improved defense in the SEC in 2025. And they just got better by adding 3 quality players. So Auburn has to win too with this. If Auburn is winning, you get those guys, you get those quality players to come in as well. So I look at it and I say, man, this is we Coach Golesh, man, we would love to see something, right now, but let's get to winning, because even when you're winning and even when you're in a position of where you're playing in postseason and things and stuff of that nature, if that happens, guess what? Guys still going to want to come play for you. And that's what you see with Ole Miss right now. I just want to throw that out there because when I saw that pop up, I was like, man, those are 3 quality guys that Ole Miss just picked up to come play for them.
Right.
Next season. I just look and I'm just like, man, this is wild.
And I've said this a lot too, Nick, but it pertains to this conversation. And I hate this, guys. I hate what I'm about to say, but this is the reality of the situation. Cam Newton was a long time ago. Kick 6, long time ago. Them dudes done played in the league and then retired that were on the field for that game. So, we have these fond memories, we think back to Tommy Tuberville and that 04 stretch there, and 05, 06, all those good seasons there after they tried to fire him. I mean, really what Pat Dye, from the moment that Pat Dye came until 2020, there was a certain floor for Auburn where you felt like, and I know there was a 3-9 in there. I understand all that, but they bounced right back, right? It never continued.
Yeah.
You kind of felt like, all right, man, Auburn's, like you always say, 13th most winning program. There's a certain level to this. Now we're kind of in what Tennessee went through of those dark ages and all that. So for this question in particular, how is Ole Miss doing it so much better? I get the winning part, but they have figured out every aspect of this new landscape. And this is a great question. It's a great question. FRWL/234. One, they actually do a good job with their Grove Collective. They do a good job with the NIL. They were on top of it early. They were they've been good at it pretty much from the jump. And Auburn's been solid at it for a while, but there was actually a collective before On to Victory, I think. I think the first year NIL, there was an Auburn collective. They disbanded it, kind of redid it, and On to Victory. So, like, Auburn's had trial and error with all that. We can go through the rev share nightmare of last summer, right? So, like, there's Ole Miss is, they have done a good job of navigating this. They do have a good athletic director, it would appear. that is kind of up with the times and staying ahead of the game. But, you know, the winning part is the big part of this. Since the kick 6 years, so it's at 2013. Since 2013, Auburn has lost at least 4 games every season.
Yep.
So, yes, the last 5 years have been losing seasons, and that's been terrible. But think about what I just said. That's from 2014 to 2005.
Yep.
Auburn has lost at least 4 games every single year. These kids don't care about Bo Jackson, Cadillac Williams, blah, blah, blah. All Cam Newton is to them is some dude wearing goofy hats now that does a podcast. That stuff was a long time ago, man. Auburn was mid for like a decade under Gus, super mid. Don't let anybody tell you any different. 8-5 is mid. It was then in that college football. Now the structure is a little bit different, but it was 8-5, and then now it's 5-7. So think about that. These kids that are in high school trying to, getting recruited by these schools, or they've never seen Auburn be decent. You know what they know? They know Auburn's got good fans. And man, I went and played there. I went there and played, and it was crazy. Well, it was crazy. And some of them will say, "Hey, where Cam Newton played." That's how long. Man, Auburn's been mid for a while, and then it was just bad. Auburn hasn't been good for a hot minute. Auburn's never made the playoff.
No.
So like that's why. Because quite frankly, Auburn sucks. So
I want to ask you a question. Would you liken this period of Auburn to Miami? From 2000, let's say from 2004, 2005, up until just recently. Like Auburn won a national championship in 2010.
Yeah.
And now you going through a period of just peaks and valleys. You went to a national championship. You had a couple of 10-win seasons in there, but you was kind of 8-4, 8-5-ish. You may have 1 or 9 wins. And then now you in this 5-7 period. And things and stuff like that. Would you liking that to Miami? Miami did. I said this. Miami did make some bowl games, but they only won like 1 bowl game in that stretch. All their bowl games lost. I think they won 1 bowl game under Mark Richt, if I'm not mistaken. Would you liking that? Would you liking that period to Auburn?
In terms of wins and losses, yes, I would say that like Auburn has less excuses than Miami, because when Miami goes 5-7, they've got 20,000 people in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a completely kind of checked out situation. And they kind of like, and I think that the implementation of NIL kind of gave them a bit of a boost. Like, oh, because Miami was doing NIL before NIL was cool.
Yeah,
right?
they were.
Right? So they said, wait, we can go back to doing our blueprint and it's legal now. So I think that Auburn has so many resources to where I look at it. I guess I liken Auburn more to Tennessee, to what Tennessee went through, just because it's like the fan base is still showing up. And also, like for Miami, it looks worse to me in some ways, because it's like, man, you had a whole month where you had NC State, Virginia, Wake Forest, and Duke, and you couldn't. And in that time period, you're talking about they would go 1-3 or 2-2, right? Auburn struggling. Auburn still losing 1 possession games to Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, right? Like if you throw Auburn in the ACC and play that schedule, I think it looks different.
Yeah,
and that's not like SEC superiority or nothing like that. It just feels like it definitely, to me, it just kind of feels like the Tennessee situation, to where everything's there to succeed outside of the right guy. And then they try with Dooley and all these different guys, and then finally, bang, Heupel, and it was go time, and it was go time quickly. So, but yeah, I mean, but like similar situations.
Okay.
GB says, I get so mad when Auburn keeps replaying the kick six. It's like a 40-year-old saying
God.
that used to be one.
Man.
Yeah, this is something. So it's like, oh man, I'm so with this comment, and I'm with it, and it's not because like, it's just because it's time to create a new moment.
Yes.
I'm not mad at you for replaying like Auburn owns one of the greatest plays and endings in sports history.
Yes, they do.
So rep that. Cool. My problem with it is when they play it on the scoreboard for the hype video, it's literally the last highlight they have to play for us. That's my problem with it. Like, it's time for a new one. It's time for a new one. Okay.
Or when they hold up the national championship trophy, it's the crystal trophy, not the new trophy. Like that's the moment I'm talking about. Like, it would be nice if you play the kicks at the start, but then this is just me in my mind. If you playing the kicks to start the hype video, but the end of it is you holding up 3 college football playoff trophies back to back to back, or 3 within 5 seasons, that would be amazing. That would be something that I could be like, oh, that's moments, not just a moment, but the moments, that Auburn has had recently, man. To your point, yeah, man, we man, recency bias, man. It's just how I look at it, man. When we talk about it, and you can ask people how they think what recency is and what time period it is. Recently, man, Auburn has not been good. Yeah. We haven't been good. And we gotta find, man, it's just a desperate fan base is what we are, man. I'm just trying to find something to hold on to. And that's why you keep seeing the kick six all the time, man. It's just, yeah. I every time I see it in a video package or something, I just be like, man, I remember where I was when that happened. Like, yeah, I was literally at the game when that happened. Like, I remember it. Right. Then I think past it, I just like, yeah, I don't remember anything else. I don't remember any other moments after that. Like, where it's just that is the moment, but it is what it is, man. I agree with that comment, though. I agree with that comment.
Yeah, for sure. I think I was in high school, says Saucy. I was a couple years out of high school at that point. Yeah, but like Zach says, 13-year-old highlight. Let's get to some of these comments, man, and then we're going to get out of here. Please do us a favor. Like the video, sub to the channel right now. Head on over to the Water Cooler Talk Sports Podcast and subscribe today. WK Sweat 71 says, we're going to have to fall in love with new players every single season. Yeah, this I want to be careful when I say this because I don't want it to sound like I am it's just, I said this on the show a lot, separating person from football fan. So like, I'll go ahead and answer the question that somebody put in the chat. I actually accidentally unstarred it, but I was going to bring it back up. Somebody in the chat asked my feelings on Jay Crawford going to Ole Miss. Okay. So I have 2 different answers. One, there's the human in me. Human in me says, do what's best for you. I don't know Jay Crawford's situation. I don't know the ins and outs of what was happening every day when he was at Auburn. I don't know the ins and outs of the financial discussions. Let's say that Ole Miss offered him $300,000 more than Auburn did. I'm just, this is a complete hypothetical. Okay. But like, let's say that's the case. Well, who am I to say you should leave $300,000 on the table in terms of loyalty? Right? Like, so I'm not an idiot. Human being, acknowledge all of that. And before I say the second part of this, that's the more important thing. Okay? Mm-hmm. Like, treat human beings like human beings. That goes without saying. Mm-hmm. Now, going to put on the fandom hat for a minute. Mm-hmm. Okay? Fan is short for fanatic. I'm tired of patting people on the back on the way out. Especially if they go to an SEC rival. Ole Miss and Auburn been had beef. Yep. And I'm supposed to say, go be great? Nah, buddy, listen. I wish you well. I wish you nothing but health and everything in your personal life. But when you play football for Ole Miss next season, I hope you burnt toast, dog. I hope you get burnt time and time and time again. It's just like this. I never had any beef with what Bo Nix did, the person. Bo Nix, the person, made the right decision for him. How could you even argue it?
Yep.
He's starting for a playoff team. Who knows if that would have happened if he would have stayed at Auburn? Probably not, or the route would have been a lot harder, right? Like, he made the right decision to go to Oregon. I can acknowledge that as a human being. I can also say the Auburn fan in me says, dang, bro, you were our guy. You were our guy. You were supposed to be the one. So, again, everyone's situation is different. I know it's hard to kind of separate the fan from the person at sometimes. Because we do the show, I think it's just easy for me to do, right? Because we come on here for hours every week and talk about it, and I can kind of compartmentalize and all that kind of stuff. I've also become like numb to the portal era. Like it just, I hate saying this, buddy, but I don't even fall in love with the new players. I have other sports, okay? Like I have a favorite hockey team. I have a favorite pro football team. Like I'll give you an example. Levante David just probably played his last game, unless the Bucks back into the playoffs. Probably just played his last game as a Buccaneer yesterday. Played 14 seasons. So for every Sunday, I've watched Levante David for 14 seasons. Yeah, I got love for that dude, bro. Like I got love for that dude. Like as a player, like that's my guy. Okay. And I know college only have a 4-year window. But look at the guys I got on the wall, Nick. I got the 4-year guys. Caddy, Ronnie, right? So, like, in this new era, I don't fall in love with the players. They're 1-year rentals. They're just 1-year rentals. I just want whoever we get on this team, whoever slaps on that helmet, go win us some football games. And I know that might sound a little cold. It might sound a little harsh. And I just want to kind of reiterate what I'm saying here is like, I'm pulling for all humans to be successful that are good people, obviously. But like just from the football fan standpoint in me, if you want to go to Ole Miss, brother, go to Ole Miss. And I hope that whoever we bring in here at wide receiver burns your ass next year. I hope you get lit up. And guess what? If they're playing Mississippi State, I hope whoever toes Crawford for 150. Like that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. You want to know the truth of how I feel about it? That's how I feel about it. Like, so that's the fan in me. So yeah, man, it's a lot. And I don't really fault anybody for feeling a certain kind of way, because the weird thing about this is that, like, if you've been a fan of this sport for 30, 40, 50 years, like we got people in this chat right now that can tell you about when Pat Dye came in and turned things around. I can't. Who are we to tell y'all, just accept it, old man? Just accept the way it is now. Like, no, that person has a right to say, I don't like the way this new system is.
Exactly.
So, like, and if you are one of those fans that ignores the people that have a problem with this system and everything, and you quit yelling at the clouds, old man. If you're that guy, you might wake up one day in a stadium that used to have 88,000 people and there might only be 75. And you might go, where did everybody go? I'm just saying. So I know I said a lot there. But in terms of we're going to have to fall in love with new players every year, I ain't even know. Like, it's hard to even get attached to them individually, dog. I'll tell you this. Jarquez Hunter, you're my boy, bro. Like, love you, bro.
Yeah.
I love you, dude. Love you to death, bro. Jalen Simpson, I freaking love you.
Bro.
You got anything to say on this topic, Nick?
Nah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I agree with everything you said. And I see Mr. 21 in the chat, Ed Darby, he's saying, love the team, support the players. Love the team, support the players.
That's a great way of putting it. I like that.
And that's how I feel about it, man. Like, the thing about Auburn is I feel like we get very, very attached to players, because it's almost like, and when I say this, I don't want people to get upset about this when I say this. It's almost like, oh my God, they picked us. They picked us. We ain't been there before. I had a coach one time tell us, like, act like you've been there before. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when we get guys that when guys pick Auburn to come to Auburn, especially when they're highly rated, highly touted guys, we be like, oh snap, they picked us. Yeah. Why wouldn't they pick Auburn? You know, that's how you gotta be sometimes. Like, I understand that Auburn has not been its best the past decade. But when you look at it in totality and historical aspects, Auburn is one, like I always say, it's the 13th winningest program in college football history. Why wouldn't you want to come to Auburn? Why wouldn't you? So my thing is, like, when you get guys like that, when guys commit to Auburn, it's almost like it's the fan base is just so giddy and so excited about it. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that's what's up. Let's get on the field. Let's see you perform. Let's do that. I'm happy you here. Now that you hear it, now that you with the program, now let's see you whatever way you are. Let's see those measurables work out on the field. It's the mindset that we got to have moving forward. Because sometimes I always felt like we was just happy to just get the guy and just be like, oh, were you happy to get the guy? Because guess what? We're close. We close to being there instead of just winning games. But man,
we went from a guy that didn't recruit at all to a guy that all of a sudden was getting 5 stars, and it was like, oh, this is different.
I look at it, I just like, all right, man. I just want us to act like we've been there before. Just act like the 13th winners program in college football.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And like Billy says, Eugene, another one. I love Eugene. Yes, love Eugene. Love Eugene. Now remember, Eugene did transfer to Auburn, so like this is the part to where I want to be fair here. I don't want to be like, oh, I hate the damn portal when people leave Auburn and then be like, Janai Broom's the best thing ever to happen to Auburn basketball. Well, we kind of got him out the portal. Like, so, I want to be fair. But yeah, man, like ultimately it's hard. It's just hard right now to ask college football fans in general, like zooming outside of Auburn, to be super invested into players individually. And, it's really crazy to kind of watch the death of the recruiting industry, but and when I say that, what I'm talking about is like the way it was followed, right? Recruiting will always be important, but like, man, the days of coming and checking the rankings, and all that kind of stuff, I just think that's gone, and I think you're going to continue to kind of see that in the industry. You're going to see just. Because I've got feedback on that on content that I've done. I've gone and watched people play in high school, came back, done a video on it, and 50% of the comments just say, well, was you ever even going to play at Auburn? And I'm like, man, I don't know. Probably not. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not, man. I don't know. We'll see next year. We'll see when we have to renegotiate his deal after 1 year. So, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. If you're turned off by that part of it, I absolutely get it. And yeah, I love the logo, man. Like love Auburn, love the logo. And I would say, like, don't ever stop heaping praise on Jarquez Hunter. Don't ever stop heaping praise on Jalen Simpson. If you want there to be more of those guys, there's a lot of conversations. That's a whole other episode about the structure of the sport needing to change. But also, let's make sure we praise those guys.
Yes.
Let's make sure that we let it be known that we do love and appreciate them, and there is value in what they've done, because this is one thing that a lot of these players are not taking into consideration. And I get it because you've got something in front of you right now. And Lord knows when I was 20, I was looking what was in front of me right now.
Yep.
But Jarquez Hunter and Jalen Simpson are going to come back to Auburn in their 40s, in their 50s. And they're going to get rousing standing ovations when they get put up on the scoreboard.
Yep.
And that means something in a lot of ways. To say that, just think of the resources that will be like Auburn will always have. Auburn University and its fans will always have Jarquez Hunter's back. And he never even participated in a winning season.
Very true.
Just because of his loyalty. Think about how powerful that is.
Very true.
Think about it in terms of business, in jobs, in life in general. Auburn's a powerful institution with millions of fans that own businesses and have resources and all of these things. And your loyalty will always be loved and be rewarded long after Jarquez Hunter's football days are over, because guess what? They'll be over before he knows it. Because that's just the way it goes. Even if you're good. That's just the way that goes. Cam Newton, one of the craziest talents we've ever seen.
Yes.
Was he out of the league by 32?
Yeah.
Like now, look, I know it's a bit of a different situation. He, Florida, Blinn, Auburn, but like, look at the loyalty that he is rewarded from. Look at the love. Like, he has Auburn as a resource forever now. So, and again, that's a little bit different situation than the Jarquez one. But I'm just saying, man, like, if you can ingrain yourself in one of these major institutions like Auburn, I'm just using Auburn as an example here, but you can use this for the whole sport. You're setting yourself up for life, man. Now, if you're going to do the TJ Finley route, and you're going to go to 6 teams in 6 years. Well, I don't know what. Yeah, who's your homecoming? Great point. Who do you come into? Who do you
going homecoming, man?
You got a lot of helmets you can put up. You got a lot of cool gear you can sell, but like, there's other aspects of this. I just hope it gets balanced out. I hope it gets balanced out at some point. The lack of focus to me last year and this year, to many drop balls, many false start penalties, turnovers in the red zone, bad QB play. And you know what's crazy about this too, Saucy, is a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, we were told in the opening press conference that I do these things well. I'm good in the red zone. I develop quarterback and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, we all saw it. We all know what it was. Just lack of attention to detail. And we saw that time after time after time. And then when you heard stories about, well, I stood at the practice today and defense looked like one football team and offense looked like a completely different one. It was like, oh, well, that makes sense, because it also looks that way on Saturday. It looked like that way on Tuesday. It looked that way on Saturday. So, yeah, for sure. Hopefully, Saucy, those issues can be fixed. Or
this one, that one side of the ball stretched in position groups, and the other side of the ball stretched as a unit. Like, come on, man.
No, I tell you what killed me about that was like a week or two before he got fired. He said, we started stretching like the defense. Remember that when he said we started doing? He said we were. He said, "Yeah, I remember that." He said, I talked to DJ and we started doing everything that they've been doing in terms of stretching before. I was like, "All right, bro,
come on, man." Man, oh man, I tell you, it's wild.
Yeah, that was tough stuff. Yeah, good times. Zach says, still can't believe how good this linebacking core could be. For sure, they could be filthy, man. There's a lot of dogs. A lot of dogs in that room.
What I'm saying is, I Elijah Melendez. I made a whole video about it. Just saying. I made a video about it. I kept playing. Elijah Melendez, my guy.
I think during last summer, I had Charlie 5 on. And I said, Charlie, I watched the Elijah Melendez tape, and they got him as a 3-star. And I don't think I've ever seen an evaluation as far off as that. And he said, yeah, I think the same thing. Like, who watched that and said that's a 3-star?
You know what it was? Now, measurables have something to do with it. But a lot of these recruiting services look at the school you went to as well. A lot of them look at schools you went to and be like, does it have anything to do with it? I'm like, no. Do you see what he did on the football field? Like, that's a 4-star at least, possibly a 5-star. What you talking about? And he proved it. I'm like, man, come on, man. Y'all, that was a disservice. Hey, I don't know if that disservice put Auburn in the front in the lead to him, but hey, Elijah Melendez, my guy, man. Shout out to Elijah Melendez.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got next year for sure. What happened to Champ Anthony? Hopefully he can stay healthy. He's coming back, right? It. Yeah, he's coming back. So. If he's healthy, if we could get 12 games, hell, we get 10. Give me 10 games of Champ Anthony, and that'd be huge, man. And I know it's his style of play. Like, dude gets in a car crash every play. I get it. He plays like Bob Sanders did back in the day. So I understand it. But yeah, he's still on the team. I would expect him to start the season in a starting role most likely and be expected to be a big contributor. He's obviously named a captain last year by his peers, so he's great in the locker room. I think he's going to be a key. He's going to be key for Alex Golesh in terms of leadership and culture and all that kind of stuff. Football-wise, we need him on the field, so hopefully he can stay healthy. Zach says we still have Jacoby Matthews. I completely forgot about that.
Well, do you think he stays?
Man, I have no idea because I forgot he was on the team. It was such a late. I'm not even trying to throw shade at him.
He was late edition. Yeah,
it was like August or whatever, or right there at the end of July whenever he got named. So
that's a Durkin. He's a Durkin guy though. He's Durkin guy.
Yeah, we'll see. I would love to hear his name get up in the mix, and former 5-star, I do believe, right? So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Tavian, what's up? Says, what's up, guys? He's been in here every episode lately supporting the show. Appreciate you, my guy. It's $4.99 super chat here. It's going to take some pain and time, but we're going to have to start thinking of football rosters as basketball rosters. Yeah. I mean, there's more. It's crazy, right? And it's like we're still getting information. We're still learning about the new, like the new way of college football. You look back to last year, and Auburn didn't have hardly any turnover, even after a losing season. So I don't want to act like every single year is just going to be this massive, what we're seeing this year. This is obviously because of coaching change. But, yeah, still, I mean, you're going to, like, I'll say this. When I was at the Iron Bowl and I saw the tens of thousands of people wearing Cam Coleman jerseys, me and my dad had a conversation about, they can be able to wear those jerseys to the game next year. So, like, you dropped $120 for a guy that might be scoring touchdowns against Auburn next year.
Yeah, very true.
So, yeah, I mean, it just keep the right perspective. It's so funny. I always wanted, as a fan back in the day, I don't really care now. I don't wear jerseys like that. Not for college anyway. But I always was like, man, why can't we put the name on? We'd have to take them to go get the name put on them,
Get the name put on them.
And then now that the rules got put into place to where you could actually put their name on them, it actually made it to where you didn't want to buy a jersey. It's kind of funny how that whole cycle kind of played out.
Collective bargaining. That's all that is.
Yeah. Auburn has never made the playoff. 2017, we were close.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, if it was an extended playoff, right? If it was more than 4 teams, we would have been screaming and probably would have got in. I would like to think Auburn would have got in.
Have though?
I don't know.
And then we lost the SEC championship game, but we got dropped. So we have gotten in, or would we have stayed in the same spot like another team and got put in the playoffs? I'm just asking. I don't know.
I would say that what UCF did to us a month later. I don't really care what would whatever. Oh, man. Whatever, I guess. For sure. Exactly. We would have been we would have made the playoff and we would have got blown out. If we brought the same effort we brought to that Peach Bowl, we would have got destroyed. So yeah. Ed says Ole Miss went out and got winners. Ole Miss has a QB that has already led a team to a Division II championship. Winners win. Winning means something no matter the level. This is a great point. What do you guys say about this, Nick?
I agree. He mentioned this on the show Friday. As a matter of fact, he was like the thing is, like, we always talk about, the level of competition that guys play at. Do guys win? This should be the question. Are guys winning? Like, what are their production? Like, how are they producing at that level? Are they winning at that level? Or are they producing on a bad team? That's what we should be looking at, not the level of competition. Yeah, the level of competition has something to do with it. Now, it has a point. It has a expiration on that thing, I think. But if you're a ball player and you can play football, you can play football at any level. And Trinidad Chambliss has shown you that. Diego Pavia showed you that. Joey Aguilar showed you that. Played at Appalachian State last year. Now he's at Tennessee. I think he threw for over 3,000 yards this season, if I'm not mistaken. More. So my thing is, man, like we have to start we have to start looking at players production and if they are winning. And if they're not winning, what their production looks like on a losing team and how that could translate. And that's what we got to do, man. I understand it. I understand you want to see guys play against comparable competition, but man, let's just look and see how dudes are producing and how they're producing, which is what I believe this staff is trying to set the level of when it comes to this transfer portal thing.
Yeah. Man, this is a fascinating conversation that we could go on for hours about in terms of evaluations, right? It's fascinating stuff. We're in a fascinating time period of college football. And I say that as somebody that doesn't like everything that's going on. I could also see where there could be some good to come out of it in the end. Like, I think that like more parity could happen, could end up being the result, and it could be good for the game. Is what's going on in Indiana just because Cignetti is that dude? Is it because Cignetti is that dude and because the portal exists and it's allowed him the opportunity to fix it quickly? What would it look like? How long would it have taken Cignetti at Indiana in 2015? Like, there's so many questions that I have just about where the sport's going, how much different it is than it was 5-10 years ago, that we could talk for just hours and hours just about that, and it really have nothing to do with Auburn. It's crazy. And again,
yes, it is.
I don't like a lot of it. A lot of it I do like in principle, but I don't like the fact that no one's overseeing it and applying basic rules to it, right?
That's it. That's
really the issue at the end of the day.
I agree with you there. That's it. You don't have like an overall commissioner or overall just a guy that's just like, we setting the vision and now we just got to go formulate the rules around it, because it just kind of feels like, and I've heard a lot of people say this, it kind of feels like 4 different people, well, really 2 different people making the decisions for all of college football. And Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey, the Big Ten Commission and the SEC Commission. It just feels like that. Instead of just having one guy sit at the top and just be like, what are we going to do? So, This is what I admire. It does feel that way.
This is what I admire about the NFL so much, bro, is that when they see something that like is potentially messing with that dollar line, like that bottom line, okay, like they'll nip it gets quick. Look, things got political about a decade ago, if I remember correctly, and that went on for about a season, and TV ratings went down.
Yep.
And attendance went down, and then it doesn't matter what side you sit on of that particular political argument. I'm not here to even talk about that, because I say ultimately, I'll tell y'all again, when it comes to politics, I'm as dumb as a box of rocks, and it's on purpose. I'm not here to talk about it or argue it. The point that I'm making is that the NFL saw something causing controversy that affected his bottom line and said, oh, hell no.
That ain't about to happen.
And shut it down. It ain't gonna happen. And so that's one thing where NASCAR could have used that 15 years ago. NASCAR could have used somebody coming in and say, hey, come here. Turns out these rednecks actually like watching other rednecks get in fights in the pits. Maybe don't ban that. Okay, maybe our fan base actually likes watching a Chevy race a Ford and being able to tell the difference. Maybe don't make every car look and run exactly the same, because I don't care. I just want a car that's going to get me to work. But there are Chevy guys out there and there are Ford guys out there. Like that was a big part of that sport, man. They didn't listen to their customers.
Isn't that why the restricted cars were so famous? Isn't that why the restricted cars were so popular?
Yeah, they had to do a lot because people started like they had to put restrictor plates on it, like bigger tracks, because I think it was Bill Elliott. He like figured out a way to modify his car to where he was going like 220 and was just smoking fools. So they had it, but they went too hard. They got too rigid, and then it just became. Every car looked the same. Every driver talked the same, right? I would like to think, and then they named 7 sponsors. And if they even said anything bad in their post-race press conferences, they got fined. It just they lost their fans. they didn't understand the customer base. They lost the core of it. College football needs somebody to come in here and say, hey, did you know that people like rivalries? And maybe throwing Cal and Stanford in the Atlantic Coast Conference is beyond stupid. And having them not play USC and UCLA, like, and I know that UCLA and USC, they did that on their own with the Big Ten and ESPN. Look, I know that's the thing, man. That's the point we're making. There's so many different people involved in all these different decisions. Yeah, college football is in desperate need of somebody, some kind of oversight. But I'll take y'all back to SEC media days when Mike G, I was sitting right there. I think I was running the camera on the interview. Mike G sat down with Greg Sankey and he asked him, he said, what's the most frustrating part? Because this was in the middle of the whole rev share thing, right? Greg Sankey said, all of these schools came to me and asked for these rules. We put these rules in place and now they're not following them. The same schools that asked for them. And I'm like, well, damn. I can see your plight, Greg. I can see your issue then. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's a massive conversation for sure. It affects Auburn obviously, but it affects all of college football. Die Hard with the $4.99 super chat. I think I saw a comment that you had left, but then maybe I didn't. I thought you had a comment attached to this. If I missed it, brother, throw it in the chat real quick with a star beside it, so I know if you had a comment to go with this. I know how the super chats can do you sometimes, but thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you for tuning in today. Auburn Thal says, then there's us old heads that just accept what it is, seen too much and let it bother me so much. Yeah, I'm kind of in that vein with it where I'm like, this is what it is right now. And I just, one or two things are going to happen, in my opinion. It's going to keep going down this road to the point to where eventually I do throw my hands up and say, you know what, I can't.
Forget it.
Or they're going to get it fixed. I think to an extent, it'll never be the same sport that it was. But I have to believe that with this much money on the line, at some point, common sense will prevail.
Yeah.
At some point, someone was going to come in and say, man, maybe 2-year contracts at least, like something, some kind of rule. Like, again, you should be allowed to portal, maybe, like, I don't know, like some stipulation on that, but should you be allowed to TJ Finley this thing? Like, should you be allowed to go to 6 different D1 schools in 6 years or whatever in the world? Like, there's a lot of give and take for it. It was too, I've always said this, it was too pro team, pro institution in the past. And the players didn't have enough freedom and they could get stuck in the bad situation.
Yeah.
It's now swung too far
to the player
in the other direction. So finding that happy medium, I'm going to remain, maybe this is just being stupid, I'm going to remain optimistic that at some point they're going to get this figured out. Let's make no mistake about it. College football has always kind of been a mess. Like,
oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
You go back to the 60s and 70s and you got some years got 4 different national champions, right? Like, it's always been a bit of a mess. So I'm hoping, man, that at some point here, this is the cooler heads will prevail. Every time I see Nick Saban talking about what needs to happen, I'm like, well, will somebody just put you in charge, bro? Will somebody just put you in charge of this right here? But somebody, can we get a committee, something? Can there be? It's like, you see, like, look at UCF, look at UFC with Dana White. Like, that just showed. Look at boxing and look at mixed martial arts. One of them has a commissioner. One of them has a guy making sure that the best fighters in their weight class fight each other. Boxing made us wait 10 years to watch Pacquiao versus Mayweather way after their prime.
Yep.
You need people in charge. You need a boss. College football doesn't have a boss. They got hundreds of them. And they're all looking out for their conference or their school and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I hear you, Auburn-Thal, and I'm with you. I'm kind of in that same boat. Like, I don't like a lot of it. I've accepted what a lot of it is right now. We'll see how it all ends. I think that at some point, some rules are going to get implemented here to at least add some much needed structure. Billy says that's where he's at. Been very active in the chat today. Billy, appreciate you, big dog. Jay Crawford going to have to see us. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Halloween. It's on Halloween too.
Yeah, Auburn and Oxford on Halloween. I love that, man. I love that. And look, I don't want anything I've said today. Don't mistake it. Jay Crawford is a football player. He is a great football player. He is going to play football in the NFL. When him and Cam Coleman were going up against each other at high school camps, I was like, oh my goodness, look at like both of these guys are coming to Auburn. So don't hear what I'm saying. Like I'm not acting like the kid ain't talented. Kid's super talented. But at the end of the day, I hope that whoever is in that Auburn uniform dust him. And then I hope he turns around and lets him know about it.
Keyshawn Singleton.
That would be great. That'd be fantastic. You know what? I'm gonna wait till this roster's set. But there's a wide receiver on this team that's been on this team.
Yep. That's
gonna break out next year. I'm gonna wait till it's set.
Yeah.
I've been a believer, bro. I've been
Baker's finest, high school's finest, Bryce Cain.
Outside of Justin Gatlin, that's the fastest person I've ever seen, bro. Like in person.
Wait, did you say Justin Gatlin, the Olympic sprinter?
I said outside. Yeah, he's from Pensacola.
Whoa, wait. You compare Bryce Cain to Justin Gatlin?
No. I just said that I've seen run in person.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying no. I'm not saying he's gonna go win gold, win silver. No.
Okay.
I'll just say as far as like what I've seen with the two fastest people I've seen with my eyes.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Are Justin Gatlin and Bryce Cain. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Hey, the strongest person I've ever seen up close and in person was the day when Trent Richardson decided to break the Escambia High School bench press records. I ain't never seen that many 45s on a bar. I don't even remember.
What was that?
A lot.
I don't remember.
All the 45s in the room.
Jesus
bar bending. Okay. I like, woo, look at that guy. Yeah. So I believe in Bryce Cain is what I'm getting at. That speed is absurd, and he's electric. Let's see, got a couple more we're going to get to here. Die Hard says, what is taking so long to lock down Brown? This should have been completed on Friday. You got the patience of me, buddy. Look, Andrew Warsaw at 10:11 a.m. tweeted out, huge day with a War Eagle emoji, a War Damn Eagle hashtag, and a picture of the stadium. So, should be the GM says it's going to be a big day, buddy. Hopefully. But I get it. We want these things to happen. So, hopefully I have more podcasts to do today. Starting to see some cryptic stuff on the timeline. It would be really funny if like 10 minutes after we got off here, if the news broke. I'll say this because I have kind of hinted at my impatience on the show. If it gets to Tuesday, if we get to Monday night, then I'm gonna hit the alarm bells. But right now we're cool. There's a lot that goes into it, man. Paperwork. They got to finalize these deals. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. Cam could have been one of those dudes talking about what we were talking about earlier. Guys that have the institution that can have their back for life and all that kind of stuff. Talking about Cam Coleman, yeah, for sure. Hometown kid. Last play as an Auburn Tiger will be fumbling the ball to lose the Iron Bowl for your hometown team.
Hey,
that's tough.
That's
tough.
Him, man.
You're not going to get the same reception that Jarquez Hunter. I'm like, right? Like we don't view you all the same. So, and like think Cam Coleman's great. I think Cam Coleman's going to play football for a decade plus, and get paid handsomely to do it. Right? It's like I'm not crapping on him. It's just to our discussion earlier. He could have been that guy. He could have been like the hometown hero and all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm not in Cam Coleman's shoes. Texas isn't offering me millions and millions of dollars. So it is what it is. I would never buy a current player's jerseys. I'm with you, D-Mac, unless he's a senior. If he's a senior and it's like the 5th game of the season, 6th game, if he's a senior and he's already played out his remaining eligibility, so if he's a senior and he's played at least 5 games, then you are eligible for me to purchase your jersey. But other than that, dangerous.
Update. News coming soon.
News coming soon. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up because we got other content to get ready for.
Be on the lookout for. I would probably say the end of today.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll get your final thoughts in here. Final comments. Billy says, I got that Nick Marshall jersey, but has no name. You know what's funny, Billy? I've wanted this for a while. I want a 14 Nick Marshall jersey. Nick Marshall is my second favorite Auburn Tiger of all time. So
who's number one?
Caddy.
So Carnell Williams is your number one.
Yes.
Carnell Williams is my number 2. Now this is not gonna make sense.
Okay.
But it makes sense to me. There's another running back. There's another running back who's number 1, who's my number 1 favorite Auburn Tiger of all time. Ben Tate.
Bro. I got the Ben Tate jersey right here, bro.
Hey, the reason I wore 44 is because of Ben Tate.
Okay.
That's the reason why I wore 44 was because of Ben Tate. And I enjoyed the way Ben Tate ran the football. Yeah. And I was like, fun. That is my favorite running back that I've ever seen run the football. Now, don't get it twisted. I like Carnell. I like Caddy. But when I saw Ben Tate, I was like, I like that. I like that guy.
Give me your third.
Number 3, Carlos Rogers.
Ooh, good one.
Carlos Rogers. I give you my top 5. Number 1, Ben Tate. Number 2, Carnell Williams. Number 3, Carlos Rogers. Number 4, Dontarius Thomas. Number 5, Carlos Dansby.
Give it to me again. Ben Tate and Caddy.
Ben Tate, Carnell Williams, Carlos Rogers, Dontarius Thomas, Carlos Rogers. Carlos Dansby.
Okay. It's a good list, Nick.
I think it's a solid list. Number 6 is Quentin Groves. Hey, number 6 is Quentin Groves. And it was tough. It was tough. It was tough to keep Quentin Groves out there top 5, but I put Dontarius Thomas and Carlos Dansby ahead of him.
All right. No Cam.
Cam was listen.
Is it just because of how is it so obvious, like kind of thing? It's kind of how I feel about it. It's like, yeah, he was the shit. Like,
yeah, Cam's the greatest college football player of all time.
Yeah, it's like,
so I mean, it's cool. I think everybody has an affinity to Cam. Cam won a national championship for Auburn, you like right. That. But when you talk about other players, man, and it's just I just think there are other players that don't get a lot of shine that they should. And those are my 5 plus 1. Those are my guys. I like those guys, man.
This is a fun conversation. Brent Fullwood is his favorite. Oh, Ed, Brent's a good one, Brett. I know you were gonna come in with all one. That boy Kenny Irons was filthy now.
Kenny Irons was amazing, bro.
Kenny, he got off the bus and said, "I'm going for 200 in Baton Rouge," and he did it. We just couldn't make a field goal that night. I'm Caddy 1.
Okay.
Carlton Davis, probably number 2. You got to think. Okay. Lockdown for college team and then won a Super Bowl for my pro team. Man. Trey Smith.
Ooh, longevity.
Trey Smith, number 3, that Iron Bowl.
Yeah, longevity.
So that Iron Bowl where he went off. I got stuck. My granny was supposed to come pick me up from my aunt and uncle's house. They're all Gumps, every one of them. I said, Granny, okay. You got to come get me before this game. You got to come get me before this game. She called the house. Your granny ain't gonna be able to come get you till tonight. I got stuck. I was the only one. Boy, I had a day. 10-year-old me had a day.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about.
10-year-old me had a day. So yeah, Trey Smith. Man, big Robinson Thorese guy.
Ooh, Robinson Thorese, number 27, bro.
I loved Robinson Therese. Okay, he was around the ball
Yeah.
every single play.
Yes.
I loved watching him
Yes.
play football. Yeah, Quentin Groves. Yeah, I mean, Quentin Groves, Quentin McGroves, and Stanley McGlover ruined it on the way out.
He did.
By trying to get Auburn in trouble. So yeah, I'll go Quentin Groves, man. And I'm confident on my top two. The rest of it is definitely subject to change. If you ask me again tomorrow, I might give you a completely different one. Love Courtney Taylor. Let's go.
Yes, that is sir. Me and Quentin Groves.
Yeah, Mobile.
Before he passed away. That was me and Quentin Groves. Got a picture with him, man. I'm telling you, man, that Quentin Groves, that guy, man. He that guy. He that dude.
Yeah. Rest in peace, man.
And then me and Terry Brazil, which is Bo Jackson's running back.
Let's
coach.
go.
So man, it was dope. It was dope, man.
Good times. JC, yeah, man. Got a lot of love for JC. A lot of love for Nick Fairley, Junior Rose Green, Philip Lutzenkirchen. Yeah, listen, man. A lot of names. We want new names. We want new names. I would be scared to ask a young 9-year-old Auburn fan right now, who's your favorite Auburn player? Peyton Thorne. Like, oh God.
Whoa. What? Yeah. Wait a minute now.
Well,
you got to watch Auburn football.
It would have to be Jarquez, I guess, right? If you
Jarquez would have to be
it would have to be Jarquez
or Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. It would have to be one of those guys for sure. All right. Any more of these before we get Terrell Zachary? Yeah, man. We're throwing out some names now.
Shout out to Terrell Zachary. Because I want people to understand, if Terrell Zachary does not catch that pass from Cam down the sideline against Clemson in the national championship year, Auburn might lose that game.
Woo, that's a big play.
That was a big time play, bro. And Cam stood in the pocket and delivered that ball down the sideline, and Zachary caught it and stayed in bounds. Woo! Man, he had a couple of big plays that season because he had the
Iron Bowl one.
Iron Bowl one with the pitch behind. He came around and scored. It was like a 70-some yard play or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, he had a couple of big plays that season, man.
Mm-hmm. He had a big play the year before in the 2009 Iron Bowl. Remember, we jumped out to the big lead and all that.
Oh, stuff, yeah. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. So Zachary, man, he was a big time player for sure. Dan says, Dustin and Nick, you guys rock. Love your shows. War Damn Eagle, appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, man. Thank you, absolutely. Been a great month. Been a great 2-3 months for us over here on the Uptempo podcast. I know, Nick, y'all are doing really well, man. I've seen some of your episodes lately been popping. The subs have been going up. Very, very happy and very proud for you, brother, for sure. It's good to see. Mark Humphrey says, no, Bo. I just wasn't born yet. Like, that's all that is.
That's it.
Yeah, you ask my dad, favorite Auburn player, he's going to tell you Bo Jackson, and he's going to tell you the stories about being at the games and all that. Got nothing but respect. I mean, my favorite highlight, one of my favorite sport highlights ever is Bo Jackson picking up a baseball that's like stuck underneath a fence from 300 plus feet and hosing a dude coming around third base. So like, yeah, fully understand the ridiculous athlete that he was. I just don't have any personal memories.
Was that play when he was with the Royals? The Royals? Yeah, I think I remember that play. I think I remember seeing the highlight of that play.
It's silly, dude. Like that's my favorite thing in baseball is a guy getting thrown out from outfield. That's my favorite because he rounds thirds. He thinks he's got it, and then Bo's just like, nah, bro. No, watch this right here. P-Pass says Texas pushed out Arch's roommate, and this is an important thing. What? Yeah. Did you see this, Nick?
No, this is my first time hearing this.
Yeah.
What happened?
He posted that he's in the portal, and the last paragraph, he was like, my dream was to be a Texas Longhorn. This is not my choice, but some things happen to you that you don't plan for in life, and God's got me. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing a little. But he let it be known, this ain't me. And I would actually kind of encourage some players to actually do that. Like, because some of these guys get flack for leaving when they actually got cut. Like, I know on the baseball side of things of some guys that have been told in the middle of the season, you're not playing again, and you won't come back to Auburn. And I'm talking about like with 2 months left to go in the season, telling players. So like there's another side of this as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have our complaints about how crazy the player movement is, but there is another side to this, to where, I saw somebody tweet out an excellent tweet yesterday, Nick. They said, they posted, a lot of y'all entered the portal today and y'all don't realize you just retired from football. I said, oh, that's cold. But that's the truth. So this portal, man, it works a lot of different ways. Let's see, I think that is going to wrap it up for today's show.
Samuel the Sniper just put some in the chat.
Let's see. Samuel says, got a text saying there's a multiple surprise visitors on campus today that no one knows about. Going to be an interesting portal. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this comment up here. Go ahead, like that video, sub to the channel. I'm going to use this as our outro here. Let's just wait and see, right?
That's it.
Let's wait and see. Auburn's got the resources. Auburn's got the money. Okay. We all know this. So, yeah, it does not surprise me that there is going to be some surprise visit. That doesn't surprise me at all because, listen, at the end of the day, one, again, like Auburn can play ball with the best in terms of the money. Then you look at the other stuff and resources, fan base, quality of living on campus and in the town. Like, there's so many checks in the positive column for Auburn that, yeah, it shouldn't surprise you that I'll say this. It's not new for Auburn to get good players to consider coming there.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody with a brain would consider Auburn.
Yeah.
Can you actually get them?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last guy was able to get them and didn't know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a whole lot that goes into this. What it will be, like Samuel says, is it will be a very, very interesting transfer portal cycle. So we're all kind of sitting on pins and needles waiting on the announcement of the quarterback. And then you kind of feel like everything will kind of fall after that. We know these announcements are coming. They're going to have to come because Auburn's going to have to fill a roster. Auburn is going to play football next year and they got a lot of spots to fill. So we're going to have you all covered here. If we'll see how the whole thing goes down. I'm just guessing here. Okay. I'm just guessing. This is not a report, pure speculation. Mainly because I don't want to bother my sources. Like I don't want to be the 15th person to call somebody and be like, "What's going on with the quarterback situation?" Because I just know we're gonna find out either way. So I don't have an official report or anything on this. I'm just guessing that it happens today in terms of Brown. And if it doesn't happen today, I'll say this: if it gets to tomorrow evening and it hasn't happened, then I will raise serious concern. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that. And then I think you're going to have a flurry. Really soon. Final thoughts, Nick?
I would second that happening today, potentially.
Yeah.
I would second that.
Yeah, let's get it done. And just so you guys know how I'm not even superstitious, but I'm just at this point, kind of like we talked about at the beginning of the show. Just so y'all know how much I really love Auburn, bro. Yesterday, I sat down. No, I ain't going back, bro. I thought you were about to say you was a Dollar General. No. I can't go back there. There were too many people that watch the show that live in Pensacola. I cannot be seen. I used to work at the airport, bro. I don't work there no more, but I used to work at Pensacola Airport. I had a guy walk up to me one time and say, told me to keep Alabama out of my mouth. No idea who this guy was. He just walked up to me and said, "Dude, Dustin?" I was like, Unfortunately, if you work for the airport, you have to have a security badge. So my security badge was hanging down and said my name, I was like, yeah. He goes, "Yeah, keep Bama's name out your mouth." I was like, okay, well, Auburn fans accuse me of being Okay, sure. But point being, I can't get caught at the DG no more. So no, we're a Family Dollar family now.
Family Dollar, baby. That's what it is, man.
Family Dollar, or just
regular
just
Dollar
hit
General.
the, just hit the wall.
Dollar Tree.
On principle, now that things in there, they're $1.50. It kind of pisses me off.
It does, because I went and ate gummy worms yesterday. Not yesterday, day before yesterday. And I thought it was gonna be $1, man. I got to the counter, it was like, it's 2 bags for $1. So I said, I thought it was supposed to be $2. It's like, nah, it's cool. I was like, all right, it is what it is. But I still got it.
Yeah. Family Dollar suck. We have started dollar store wars in the live chat. It's time. It's time to wrap it up. Like the video, man. Sub to the channel today, and we will have tons of content coming out for you guys this week. Nick, what's going on over at the Water Cooler Talk podcast, baby?
Yo, Water Cooler Talk Sports has had like the biggest amount of growth in the past 50 days. That
awesome, man. It's awesome to see.
It's great. And we appreciate y'all, man. So please come over to Water Cooler Talk Sports. Live shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We put out a video every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7 a.m. Central. We got some new things that's coming out this week. Actually, we are going to announce them tomorrow night on a live show. A lot of new things coming for Water Cooler Talk Sports, because we are about to be legit media. And when I say that, the people know what I'm saying. The people who need to hear that, what I'm talking about. About to be legit media. But yeah, man, we appreciate that. We get it for the Senior Bowl. We just got our credential application approved for the Senior Bowl. So we'll be getting ready for that coverage end of January. So we'll be trying to talk to some of your favorite SEC players and just some of your favorite college football players of all time. Jeremiah Wright and Kieran Crawford will be at the Senior Bowl as well. We'll definitely be in talk with them and get some quotes from them as well. But there's some other guys that we want to talk to as well throughout the SEC landscape and as well. So hey, check us out, Water Cooler Talk Sports, man, on YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all so much for continuing to rock with us around the water cooler as always, man. Appreciate you. And shout out to Dustin for always allowing us to come over here and talk with him and chop it up every Sunday, man. We appreciate it.
No, man. Look, looking at the growth of your channel, it's tremendous. Hard worker. Yeah, you're a hard worker, but you're humble, and that's why I love to see you growing, brother, and love to see the growth that we're having here as well. Let's make this the episode. Let's make this the episode that gets us up over 3K. I'm tired of talking about it. I want to make it happen. So absolutely, man. And as we get out of here, people are sending us texts. I want to give the proper credit. So this was what looks like this would be On 3. On 3 posting pictures of Byron Brown walking into the facility. There are receivers from USF. There are tight ends from USF that are all pictures of. They're all there right now with their quarterback. So, yeah. In every other scenario ever, 2 + 2 = 4 here. Let's hope that Auburn's able to do the simple math and get this thing done. I obviously expect them to, so be on the lookout. We'll have a reaction video for that when that happens. And we got a lot of portal content, man. This is going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week to sign up for these memberships. I know 10 of y'all got gifted some memberships yesterday. Let's go ahead and pull that graphic up real quick if I can even get – we still got Thanksgiving graphics up on StreamYard. What in the world? Look, I got a dancing turkey. There's nothing I can do with that, Nick. I can't do nothing with that. All right. Yeah, go ahead and level up today, guys. Sign up for these memberships. $3.99 a month will get you in the JV squad. $5.99 a month will get you into that varsity squad. This is the best way to support the show. Y'all know the deal, man. We're working real hard here at the Uptempo Podcast to bring you guys great content. If you want to support, you guys are the backbone, man. $3.99 a month will get you in that JV squad. $5.99 a month varsity squad. You see what it brings you right there on the screen. It really just gets you exclusive content. If what we do is not enough for you, and there will be a time, it's not right now, but there will be a time when there's not a whole lot to talk about. And when that happens, members, making sure y'all are still going to get your content. And then also, when there are things to talk about right now, like, good Lord, at the individual film reviews I'm going to have to do. I'm probably going to have to pump those out for the next 3 months, honestly. I'm not even halfway through the 2026 recruiting class. And yesterday I went to do one of those, and then I went live for the public. So, you know,
it'll be your biggest account.
And ended up falling into the biggest episode ever. So it's all good, man. Love you guys. Look, I'm gonna just kind of wrap it up here and say that we're live for 2 hours again. So awesome crowd. Thank you guys. Nick, big thank you. I literally meant to keep you for like 30, 45 minutes today, brother. And then here we are, 2 hours deep. I didn't even think there was anything to talk about today. Yeah, I was like, and here we are. So
always about to talk about.
Big shout out to Nick. Big shout out to everybody that is continuing to support the show. Like the video, share it out on social media. We will be back hopefully this afternoon with reaction pods to big time news. Stay locked in, man. Going to be a big week. We got some big announcements as well. I'm just trying to finalize all of the stuff behind the scenes here before I make those announcements. So just be on the lookout, man. Cooking up some things. I'm cooking up some things behind the scenes, but like that video, sub, War Damn Eagle. We'll see you on the next one.